President Maithripala Sirisena in conversation with his Austrian counterpart.
Deputy Minister Harsh De Silva says that the government is not ready to forcibly impose the proposed Indo-Lanka Economic and Technology Cooperation Agreement.
Totalanga houses were not demolished in an unjust manner, a statement from the UDA.
Former President's comment on the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
පක්ෂේ කණ්ඩ කට්ටියක් ඉන්නවා
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය කියන්නේ මොකද්ද බං ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය කියන්නේ ජනතාව ඉන්න පැත්ත බෝඩ්ලෑන්ඩ් නෙමෙයි
3 cases filed by the Bribery Commission against former Chief Justice Shirani Bandaranaike withdrawn. With news from home and across the globe, you're watching Prime Time News on News First. Good evening to you. I am Chaturanga Hapuarachi with my co-anchor Bernadine Jaisingh. Good evening, Bernadine.
Good evening, Chaturanga, and a very good evening to all our viewers.
President Maithripala Sirisena commenced a 2-day official visit to Austria with an official meeting with Austrian President Heinz Fischer today. President Sirisena reached Austria last night.
The President's media division said that President Sirisena was welcomed at the Vienna International Airport in a grand manner. The aim of the President's visit is to further strengthen trade and economic ties with Austria. Marking the last event in his tour of Germany, President Sirisena yesterday addressed Germany's leading businesses and invited them to come to Sri Lanka and invest in it, as Sri Lanka is now prepared to move ahead in the competitive world economy. President Maithripala Sirisena made these remarks speaking at the Sri Lanka-Germany Business Forum yesterday.
The President's visit to Germany and Austria will conclude tomorrow after reaching matter that would benefit Sri Lanka politically, socially and economically. During the visit, Sri Lanka obtained many economic benefits. The heads of state of Germany and Austria agreed to assist Sri Lanka in building its economy and also praised Sri Lanka's moves to address governance and reconciliation. They said that they would also assist the President in the future.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe met with United National Party representatives from the southern province in Mathura today.
A group of United National Party representatives from the southern province and the UNP Deputy Leader, Minister Sajith Premadasa, attended the event. Sajith Premadasa expressed these views subsequent to the meeting.
අධිවේගී සංවර්ධන රටාවක් අපි රට පුරාවටම ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
We hope to accelerate a development drive across the country. The main hub would be the Hambantota district and the southern province. This is decided at the meeting with the Prime Minister. I am very pleased that former Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa had attended this development program today and rendered his assistance and blessings. He will serve as a co-chair alongside with me in the Tissa Maharama Development Committee and work to build the Hambantota district. We are coming together to implement this colossal development drive. The District Development Committee meeting of Gampaha took place this evening under the auspices of former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga.
The committee meeting was held at the Gampaha District Secretariat. We will rebuild the party. There is a group of people who are trying to destroy the party, but there is an official party. This is not the first time such an issue has arisen in the party. There have been issues such as this with the party in the past as well. We rebuilt the party, and after being battered for 17 years, we came to power during the UNP rule. Those are not big issues. These are the issues that parties need to face. There are people who have the thugs and murderers with them. Our lives are threatened. There is no problem to the party. This is a party that cannot be destroyed easily.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa arrived at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry today as well.
Who is saying so? I told that the people will create the party and I will keep watch. I told that it will be formed within the country and they are yet to form that party. What regime? This is a word used by the Americans. Our folks are using it too. What do you think of scolding the media? What do you think of intimidating the media? What are you doing? You are silent. Sirisa is silent. The news is silent. Why is that?
සිරස හොඳටම නිහඬයි. News1 එක හන්තිමටම නිහඬයි. මොකද
What is the Sri Lanka Freedom Party? The SLFP is where the people is and is not a placard. Political representatives commented on a statement made by former Chief Justice Sarathen Silva recently.
I am disappointed that Sarathen Silva is reprimanding the Sirasa media. Today the former Chief Justice is engaged in politics. After retiring, he must stay home. I was pleased to see that he was preaching at TNL. Today he is reprimanding the Sirasa media and other media and is following politicians. This is saddening. Sarathen Silva is the reason for money-based crossovers. His decision is what led to MPs to move from party to party. Today, President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe have changed all the rules. We must inquire as to whether the Tigers gave money for the Sirasa channel and Maharaja. We need to look into the truth of that statement made by the former Chief Justice and reveal the truth to the nation. He at times pleaded forgiveness before the media for certain statements. Are these wrongs that can be forgiven? I must note that the media must also pay close attention to this. Former Chief Justice Sarathen Silva has made several statements. I am not sure from which side he is issuing those statements. I am not sure if he is speaking intelligently. He says one thing at one time and another at another time. He is ill. I make a plea from former President Mahinda Rajapaksa to be cautious of the former Chief Justice.
Notices were issued on 7 heads of the National Freedom Front, including its leader, former Minister Vimal Weerawansa, to appear in court on the 18th of March.
Chief Magistrate Gihan Pilapitiya issued the notices following a complaint that was filed in court by the Cinnamon Gardens police. The complaint says that the suspects caused hardships to the general public by engaging in a demonstration in Havelock Road in Colombo ahead of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Prince Zaid Ra'ad Al Hussein's visit and using sound equipment without permission. Notices were also issued on Jayantha Samaravira, Veera Kumara Dissanayaka, Piyasiri Vijayanayaka, Mohammad Muzamil, Roger Seriviratna and Don Lisuya to appear before court on the 18th of March.
A Google balloon, part of the company's high-speed internet service known as Project Loon, touched down yesterday. The Google Loon was a topic that was taken up in the political stage, with many views being raised. The subject minister today responded to the claims that were made over the Google Loon.
Digital balloons are being airborne. They crash on some tree in Matale. The Minister of Digital Infrastructure says that it was highly successful and that it landed safely. Balloons are not supposed to be landed but to be airborne. This is a landing balloon. When seeing these digital dreams, you might not understand what we are talking about. The balloon goes up and then comes down. I clearly state that if there has been any mistake, Harim Fernando is ready to accept it. Even if there was a mistake, it's all right, because this was a test and the Sri Lankan government did not spend a cent on this. It was brought here using American funds. This is not a time where the country's money is being used to send rockets. The lifespan of a Google balloon is 180 days. After that, it falls down. They systematically land it, or sometimes it crashes. That's normal.
An unidentified group had attacked the house of Western Provincial Councillor Jagat Kumara last night, located in Utuwankanda, Talawatgoda. The police stated that the 2 vehicles which were at the premises were damaged in the attack.
The attack had taken place at around 11 last night. When I was coming to work around 6:30 this morning, the occupants in the house across the street said they heard a noise at night, like someone was knocking on the gate. When I came near the gate, it was tied up with this wire. A number of politicians arrived at the residence of the councillor upon hearing about the incident. We see this attack as an attempt to suppress the views of the opposition during the recent times through political intimidation. We condemn such ruffian attacks. Such attacks cannot stop this force. The force will strengthen day by day. One day, all these attacks will be destroyed.
ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂයේ ක්‍රියා
It is noted that 9 members of the joint opposition will be arrested before April under various reasons. We will face this. We will not stop the struggle.
අපේ සටන මේකෙන් නවතින්නේ නැහැ.
සුගිය දිනවල අපි මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ
We have worked with Mahinda Rajapaksa to save the nation on behalf of the people. We struggled with the joint opposition against the acts that are against the people. The corruption in the Kaduwala Municipal Council, former mayor using council officers for his personal use of resources and the use of resources by his son who is a provincial councillor were revealed to the people after raising questions in the provincial council. I believe that these threats are coming from these 3 groups.
මෙන්න මේ කණ්ඩායම් තුනේ මහවුල් කාර්යයෙන් තමයි මේ මරතරජන ඉන්නේ කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරන්නේ.
We also inquired from the former mayor of Kaduwala, G.H. Buddhadasa, who is currently receiving treatment at a private hospital over the claims.
මගේ කිසිම දෙයක් එහෙම
No one has used anything that belongs to me. This is not one that was told yesterday or today. This is a game played by Jagat during the election period.
තමයි ඔය වගේ බොළඳ පොඩි ළමයි කරන වැඩ කරන්නේ. මම ලොකු මිනිහෙන්නේ බොළඳ ළමයි.
Jagat is a person I influenced. He does it before every provincial council election. This is not the first time, but the 3rd time.
වතාව නෙවෙයි ඔක. තුන් වතාවක්.
Still on local news, 3 cases filed against former Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranaike by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption were withdrawn today. The Bribery Commission had filed a case against Dr. Bandaranaike, citing her failure to declare her assets and liabilities for 3 years.
State Counsel Dilan Ratnayaka, appearing on behalf of the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, informed the Colombo Magistrates Court in this regard. Thereby, former Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranaike was acquitted of all 3 cases and released today by the Colombo Chief Magistrate Gihan Pilapitiya. The magistrate also ordered that the foreign travel ban imposed on Dr. Shirani Bandaranaike to be removed.
As per the request of the Bribery Commission, the attorney arrived in court and informed that the 3 cases will be withdrawn. Thereby, on several occasions, the Chief Justice was proven innocent, and the era that the Mahinda Rajapaksa government penalized her is over. We see this as a moment where the independence of the judiciary was protected.
සියලුම නීති ආධිපත්‍ය රැකුණු අවස්ථාවකට අපි දකිනවා.
The cause of death of Sumit Prasanna Jayawardena, who was suspected to have died after falling off an upper floor of a building during a party, was revealed at the Ambilipitiya Magistrates Court today.
Ambilipitiya Additional Magistrate Prasanna Fernando announced today that Sumit Prasanna Jayawardena died of shock as a result of lacerations that caused severe bleeding from his arteries and veins. The magistrate made the announcement quoting the statement made by KMTB Gunatilaka, the district medical officer from the Ratnapura hospital. The magistrate ordered the Criminal Investigation Department to conduct investigations, apprehend the suspects and produce them in court. It does not mention anywhere that the injuries were caused after the ASP had allegedly pushed him. This clearly notes that this was not a murder. We are saddened about this death. We hope to secure bail soon. The role of the medical examiners is to reveal the cause of death. The learned attorneys representing the suspect ASP have requested for bail. This is an attempt to undermine this case by knowingly or unknowingly to change the law. They acted today as if it was for the first time that they had heard the decision of the medical examiner.
The Urban Development Authority says that no injustice was caused when demolishing houses at Kajimavatta in Totalanga. The officials of the authority, convening a media briefing, pointed out that the persons who had commenced the demonstration were those individuals living in the government-provided flats and were also hoping to obtain another house.
This woman was speaking in television saying that she was not given a house. She was given a house. She had sold the house for around 1.5 million rupees and has returned to the intermediate camp. This is the person who steers the illegal settlers. This person has taken a house from us in Randia Oyana. He must pay a rental of 2,600 rupees for this house, and his rental has accumulated to 49,800 rupees. He does not pay a cent for this house. This is the person who steers it for others to come and live. We have information of around 40 others who have taken houses from us and gone back to temporary housing.
නිවසක් නැතුව කොහේ හරි මුකුත්ම ලැබිලා නැති අයව
I must mention that persons who do not have a house were not evicted in any way and nothing unjust took place. Injustice was not caused to anyone here. Persons with houses have given it to others as a mean of income. Over 100 families have taken over lands in a short period of 1.5 months.
A group of residents of the Kajimavatta area whose houses were not removed expressed views at the media briefing.
The minister promised that he will look into the accurate information and provide a solution. There are 35 houses remaining. About 200 houses were removed.
I did not receive a house for a long time. We had to undergo many hardships with my 4 children at the camp. Thereafter, these gentlemen have asked that a house be provided to us.
This is indeed a racket to obtain houses. There is a small group of people who do not have a place to go. It is the responsibility of the ministry and it is our duty to provide these individuals with a solution. We will provide them with a permanent solution. But we will put a stop to the racket that is carried out to acquire land. We will not.
Deputy Minister Dr. Harsha De Silva today, speaking to reporters, announced that the government is not prepared to forcibly burden the nation with the proposed Indo-Lanka Economic and Technical Cooperation Agreement.
What we have is a slave system. We are not exporting goods. We are exporting our mothers, sisters and wives. When we are attempting to reach an accord to export goods and services, there are those who are against it. If Sri Lanka does not become a hub in the goods and services market, Sri Lanka will have no future. Sri Lanka is the center point in the Indian Ocean. One part is the trade agreement. That is only in the primary stages. We need to discuss what should be in the agreement. We will never forcibly burden the nation with any agreement.
කිසිම දවසක බලෙන් කිසිම ගිවිසුමක් ලංකාවේ මිනිස්සු මත පටවන්න අපේ ආණ්ඩුව සූදානම් නැහැ.
Journalists raised questions as to whether the views of the professionals will be sought to prepare a list of professions that would be exchanged between the two nations under the proposed Indo-Lanka Economic and Technical Cooperation Agreement.
ඒ කාණ්ඩ තෝරාගන්නේ ඔවුන් නියෝජනය කරන ශේෂ්ත්‍ර.
I responsibly state that such decisions will be made only after discussions with the trade unions and the professionals. According to professionals, in the past 10 to 15 years, when considered the amount of professionals who went from our country to India and the number of professionals who came from India to our country, we see that a low number of our professionals have received job opportunities. To be honest, there are many people arriving in Sri Lanka without being regulated. Go and check how many Indians there are in Sri Lanka. There are many who present themselves as professionals. What is the reason for this? The reason for this is unregulated jobs. If there is an agreement, there would be a regulation. Also, many countries have made their own policies regarding this kind of people showing up, but our country still has not done so. Raise the question that a policy has to be made first. We should work according to a policy. Then there would be an opportunity for us to show how we work according to a trade agreement with regard to the policy.
The IT Professionals Forum convened a media briefing in Colombo today titled IT Destroying ECTA. The field of information technology is growing rapidly and it has an ability to expand even further. But if the minister is speaking about IT, don't we have an obligation to come and speak on IT? Ranil Wickramasinghe, this is the problem. You have a team to advise you on this. They are veterans in the field of trade agreements, but they do not have sufficient knowledge on information technology. These are agreements that are being signed without a proper study. India will not come here to sign agreements out of love. India's population is twice as more as Sri Lanka's. Many are unemployed in India. They are not sending the top-class graduates, but are sending the second-class degree holders. They will come here and work for a lower pay.
The modernized chemistry laboratory of Royal College, Colombo was declared open under the auspices of Deputy Minister Dr. Harsha De Silva, who is a past pupil of the school.
The chemistry laboratory was modernized with funds worth 7 million rupees donated by the 2003 batch of Royal College. When I pass this way in the mornings, I see the amount of Mercedes-Benz cars, Range Rovers and BMWs parked here. There are also students who travel from far away in buses. Then, is it fair that those children who travel in buses and the others who arrive in Range Rovers have to pay 500 rupees to get the same education? This is the challenge we've got. We could provide them the welfare through the school. You're with News First. Up next is the real story. MP Mahindananda Alutgamage, former minister, party United People's Freedom Alliance, district Kandy, ministerial portfolios held: Deputy Minister of Power and Energy, Deputy Minister of Samurdhi Development, Deputy Minister of Youth Affairs and Skills Development, Minister of Sports. On the 26th of March 2014, the Hatton Magistrates Court grants bail over the assault on a supporter of the Ceylon Workers' Congress. On the 2nd of February 2015, JVP files complaint with the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption on financial irregularities at the Ministry of Sports. Criminal Investigations Department requests court for authorization to obtain bank details of Mahindananda Alutgamage for investigations on his assets. CID grills Mahindananda Alutgamage under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The Financial Crimes Investigations Division launches investigation over a 40 million rupee financial fraud committed under the guise of bringing down carom and checkers boards for the Sports Ministry. Following the conclusion of the previously held general election, a letter bearing the signatures of 56 parliamentarians submitted to the President requesting for the post of Chief Organizer. Request rejected by the President. We presented information on countless amounts of transactions which were made by him for the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium during his tenure as Sports Minister and during his tenure as Deputy Minister of Power and Energy, on how he bought land in the Kandy and Navalapita towns and how he bought land in Navala and Narahimpita. How did he manage to swindle so much of money? Where does he get the money to pay for his wife monthly for their divorce? How is he running 2 duty-free shops at the terminal of the Katunayake airport? We provided a large amount of information on these matters. However, this government has failed to serve justice to any of these investigations.
Have we forgotten?
Prior to being elected, the government of good governance made a number of captivating pledges on the election arena. From among these promises, the government responded to a few of the main sectors which stood out. However, the government has failed to fulfill many of these key promises the general public had their expectations on. The Right to Information Act is one such example. The Right to Information Act will give the media great strength to function freely. This has been included in the list of acts which should be enacted into the country's law. The Right to Information Act will be introduced soon. All these problems will be solved then. By the beginning of next year, this historic act will be brought to Parliament. Dear friends, now with the Right to Information Act being confirmed, the politics of close friends, commissions and bribes are over. We are taking measures to send the final documents on this matter to the Attorney General's Department by the 5th of next month. Thereafter, we will be definitely able to table it in the Cabinet meeting on the 7th, or if not, in the week after. After we get Cabinet approval, it will be gazetted. 2 weeks after it being gazetted, it will be tabled in Parliament.
During the run-up to both the presidential election as well as the general election, the United National Party constantly reiterated on election platforms that once the Right to Information Act comes to Parliament, any information could be obtained. Now it has been a year since the inception of this government. So what has happened to this act? When will the people get this right? According to the mandate which was given, this must be fulfilled without delay. So while urging the government not to forget to bring this forth to the public, at the same time we ask the general public to remember these things, as this government today tends to forget many such key matters.
Have we forgotten?
The Singapore Air Show, Asia's largest and one of the most important aerospace and defence exhibitions in the world, was held recently. The commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force also attended this prestigious air show.
The Sri Lanka Air Force delegation was led by the commander of the Sri Lankan Air Force. The Singapore Air Show was attended by many other government and military dignitaries from different nations. What is notable is that the commander of the Sri Lankan Air Force was among the 23 air chiefs from international air forces to attend the event, putting Sri Lanka in the limelight among the very best of forces protecting the skies. The commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force attended the other two strategic conferences that were held during the show, the A-Star Aerospace Technology Leadership Forum and the Singapore Aerospace Technology and Engineering Conference. The event featured the Aerospace Emerging Technologies Zone, the Business Aviation Zone and the Training and Simulation Zone, which helps air forces to learn about the latest state-of-the-art innovations and network with aviation's finest. The air show provided an opportunity for the Sri Lankan Air Force to enhance its regional cooperation.
The book Triumph and Disaster, The Rajapaksa Years, penned by Professor Rajiva Vijayasinghe, was launched in Colombo yesterday.
The book launch was presided over by a number of professionals, including the President of the Council for Liberal Democracy, State Minister Vasantha Senanayake. The book was reviewed by Tamara Kunanayagam, the former permanent representative of Sri Lanka to the United Nations in Geneva.
This latest book of Rajiva's, Triumph and Disaster, The Rajapaksa Years, is, I consider it to be a remarkable documentary of the first Rajapaksa years that constituted, in fact, a turning point in Sri Lanka's recent history. It is a profound personal account of the events as they unfolded between June 2007, that is when Rajiva was appointed Secretary General of the Secretariat for coordinating the peace process, and the end of the war in May 2009. The battle is not over, and that is also why this book is a must-read for anyone interested in lasting peace.
It is the responsibility of all to ensure that the children are protected at all costs, despite whose child it is.
Unfortunately, the number of crimes against children is on the rise.
On the 14th of this month, a girl in Ukkulankulam area was found hanging by the neck in her house. However, the post-mortem examination revealed that she was sexually molested and strangled to death. The victim had two sisters and the mother is a school teacher. On the 14th, she had been left alone in the house, while her mother and two sisters had gone to school. Police have begun investigations into the incident, but have not made any arrests yet. A 63-year-old man was arrested for abusing a 6-year-old girl in the Girandru-Kotte area. Police said that the arrested individual was a relative of the girl. The National Child Protection Authority had received 10,732 complaints last year alone. The complaints include 735 sexual abuses, 365 abuses of severe nature, and 433 harassments. Why do children face such a fate?
Anyone is trying to be a little too funny, over familiar, try to give presence in situations which is not quite going with the social norms, should be seen in suspicion, and also the child should be alerting an adult, a trustworthy adult, about that type of situation happening. With this, the child can be protected, him or herself. After all, the protection should be at the victim's level. If we were to look why there is a huge increase in this child sexual assault, the way I look at it is that due to the internet, television, telephone, all these outbursts in industry, information technology, that there's a huge space for people to be sexually aroused.
That's it for today. I'm Bernadine Jayasinghe.
I'm Chaturanga Puarachi. Take care and good night.
Good night.